The movie is set in Egypt in 1914. The sun was slowly slipping toward the horizon, painting the sand dunes a bloody scarlet color. Professor Packley ran his fingers over the elegant symbols, trying to unravel the mystery. Nearby, a little farther away, his student Billy Masterson was holding his breath. He followed every movement of the professor, not taking his eyes off the ancient walls. The meaning of the inscriptions became clearer and clearer. They foreshadowed the arrival of a great evil, a dark force that in 5,000 years would burst out of the black hole, bringing chaos and destruction. The only salvation was a mysterious weapon composed of the four elements: water, fire, earth and air, as well as a yet unknown fifth element. While they were trying to solve the mystery, something huge appeared in the sky, a shining ship that slowly descended to the top of the pyramid. The priest's face contorted with horror. Massive figures clad in metal armor emerged from the ship. They were Mondoshavans, alien guardians, keepers of ancient secrets. The Mondoshavans took out 4 shining stones and a sarcophagus with a mysterious fifth element. Before leaving, the aliens left an unknown key. The ship rose into the sky and disappeared over the horizon. The priest remained standing as they left and whispered an ancient oath. He knew that it was now his duty to preserve this knowledge and pass it on to those who would come after him. The time had not yet come, but the prophecy would surely come true. As 300 years pass, the military detects a huge fireball approaching the Earth. Realizing the danger, they report it to the president and are ordered to stop at all costs. But no matter what weapons the military used, it was all in vain. The great darkness had returned as predicted. Now everything depended on those who could find and awaken the power of the fifth element. In one of the tiny apartments lost among the giant towers, former soldier Corbin Dallas started his day as a cab driver. Divorced, tired of life, he shared his small space only with his cat, who seemed to be the only constant companion to his loneliness. At the same moment, at the president's headquarters, the priest Vito Cornelius was persuading the government to help the Mondoshavans who were heading for land. While Cornelius was trying to save humanity, in deep space, an unexpected blow struck the Mondoshavans' ship. Their ship was attacked by the Mangalores, brutal alien mercenaries. They attacked ruthlessly, destroying everything in their path, and captured a mysterious crate of elements. The government sends its men to the crash site. Among the wreckage of the ship, they managed to find the only surviving link, the arm of the mysterious creature. In a laboratory filled with sterile white light, scientists begin a revolutionary process of rebuilding. Gene structures are spliced together, cells come to life, and a perfect creature appears on the table in front of them. Inside the transparent chamber, a woman, humanity's only hope, was slowly coming to her senses. But she didn't realize where she was and was screaming something in another language. She slammed her fist on the glass, and out came. The alarm went off throughout the complex, the corridors filled with commotion. The woman looked around the room for an exit. The only way out led upstairs. She made her way through the ventilation shafts. Once outside, she found herself at the very edge of the tower, the bottomless city stretching out beneath her feet. The cops were closing in, and she didn't hesitate to jump down. Corbin Dallas was habitually driving when something heavy hit the roof. He braked sharply, looking at the unexpected passenger. The woman's eyes were pleading for help, reflecting strength, anxiety, and something inexplicably appealing. He didn't know who she was or who she was running from, but he decided to help her. Police cars chased them through the narrow corridors of the city. Corbin maneuvered between the airways, dodging the pursuers, but there were too many of them. At the last moment he ducked into a narrow tunnel between skyscrapers. The fog concealed them, and the police sensors lost track of them. The girl said one name, Vito Cornelius. Corbin glanced at her and went to the priest. Cornelius opened the door and froze. On the girl's hand shone the symbols of the elements. He immediately realized that before him was the fifth element. His knees buckled and he sank to the floor. While the priest discussed with his assistant what to do, Corbin admired her beauty. Taking advantage of the fact that she was asleep, Corbin decided to kiss her. But the woman woke up and pushed him away. He apologizes and learns that her name is Lelu. At the same time, Zorg met with the Mangalorians, and it turned out that he had hired them to steal an artifact. The Aknaut leader grinned and handed him a box, but when Zorg opened it, there was nothing inside. Meanwhile, Cornelius had learned that the Mondoshavians had given the stones to a trustworthy man. Lelu knew where to find him. Their destination was the Floston Paradise, a hotel on a distant planet. These stones were in the possession of the diva Plava Laguna, who was scheduled to perform at a charity ball at the Floston Paradise. Time was running out. The president, realizing the seriousness of the threat, agreed to help and was ordered to hire the best agent for the job. The military chose Corbin. In the meantime, the police searched Corbin's home to arrest him. He quickly hid Leela and the priest, and luckily the police grabbed the wrong guy. The Mangalores were also nearby and intercepted the arrestee without realizing it wasn't Corbin at all. Lelu and Cornelius went to the airport. David prepared fake passports. As soon as they boarded, Corbin appeared, replacing David on the passenger list. The priest instructed David to open the ancient temple, and David followed him. The Mangalores, disguised as Corbin and Leela, attempted to sneak aboard the plane, but were quickly discovered by security. At the same time, a flight attendant escorted the real Corbin to Ruby Road, an extravagant talk show hostess. Meanwhile, Zorg received a phone call. A voice from the darkness, "Mr. Shadow," demanded rocks. Zorg became nervous, realizing that he had been placed on the edge of a precipice. Lelu quickly found Plava's lagoon. The diva sensed her presence and relayed a message through her assistant. The meeting would take place after the concert. But the Mangalores were not going to wait, they were preparing an attack. From behind the curtain appeared Plava Laguna, a tall, graceful alien diva with azure skin. Her voice soared, filling the hall with magic. Backstage, the Mangalores burst into her room and took the box. In another part of the building, Lelu attacked the attackers using martial arts. She knocked out the last opponent with a single blow, but at that moment Zorg appeared in the doorway. He pointed his gun and demanded rocks. Lelu threw him a box and jumped into the vent. At the same moment in the hallway, one of the Mangalorians fired a shot at Plava Laguna. She fell into Corbin's arms. Zorg, confident of victory, opens the box. But discovers the box is empty. At the last moment, the dying Laguna whispered, "The stone's inside." Corbin carefully retrieved the 4 glittering artifacts, wrapped them in his jacket, and handed them to Ruby, ordering her to guard them at all costs. The Mangalores took hostages and locked the doors. A fight ensued. Corbin shot several hostages but was forced to take cover behind a bar. The Mangalores opened fire with rocket-propelled grenades, forcing him to retreat. Meanwhile, Ruby crawled toward the balcony, trembling with fear. The Mangalores surrounded Corbin. One of the Mangalorians spotted Rubia and ordered him to lie down. In fear, he was forced to comply. But at that moment, Corbin used the board as a catapult, sending the alien's head straight into the balcony area. The panicked alien opened fire on his own, allowing Corbin to grab his gun and take out the remaining enemies. In the control room, the Mangalorians held Cornelius and the hostages. Corbin eliminated several, then found the leader, realizing that if he killed him, the Mangalores would retreat. When the leader offered to negotiate, Corbin killed him with a single shot, leaving them without a leader. The hotel was once again under human control. What remained was to find Leela. Corbin rushed to the diva's room and found her unconscious. As soon as Cornelius and Ruby entered the room, an alarm went off. There was a bomb in the building. The entire hotel was evacuated, and Zorg returned to his room to deactivate the bomb. What he didn't know was that one of the surviving Mangalorians had activated another, much more powerful bomb. The hotel exploded with Zorg. Meanwhile, Corbin, Lelu, Cornelius and Ruby stole a ship and headed for Egypt. There was one last step to take. But Lelu began to question whether saving humanity was worth it. She had learned from history how cruel mankind was. Lelu wondered, is it worth saving humanity if it is destroying itself? Meanwhile, the fireball was rapidly approaching Earth. The president gave Corbin 2 hours to save the planet. The group made it to the temple where they were met by David. They placed the stones, but didn't know how to activate them. Lelu was too weak to help. They didn't know what to do, and David sighed disappointedly. But at that moment, the stone suddenly activated. Corbin guessed, to activate the weapons, you have to recreate the elements. He blew on the stone and the air activated. David poured sand and the earth activated. Cornelius wiped his forehead, water activated. Corbin lit a match and fire was activated. But Lelu refused to activate the 5th element because she believes humans are not worthy of salvation. Corbin asked to save the world for love. She fears that love is just another illusion in a world full of violence. Corbin confessed his love to her and kissed her. And Lelu activated her power. A blinding beam erupted from her body, stopping the fireball millimeters from the earth. The exhausted Lelu collapsed into Corbin's arms. When they returned to Earth, they were greeted as heroes. The president wanted to personally thank them, but the scientists forbade them to be disturbed. In the recovery chamber, Corbin and Lelu, survivors of a deadly mission, found each other. And for the first time in her life, Lelu felt the meaning of life, love. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. See you soon.